Shout out to Ethan, who is a member of my Facebook boxing group. He pointed out something about Lucas Browne, which I didn't previously know. And it may be of interest to some of you guys out there. And it kind of bolsters up my argument that Lucas Browne's chin is questionable. Now, what exactly did Ethan point out? He pointed out the fact that Lucas Browne was actually dropped in the first round by Travis Walker, who is a fairly well-known journeyman from the United States. But more disturbingly, he was also dropped in the first round by Scott Belshaw, of all people. Now, Travis Walker, for all his flaws, and there are many, can punch. And I haven't seen the Travis Walker-Lucas Browne fight. I've looked for it on YouTube. I can't find it. So I don't know how heavy the knockdown was. And, you know, some knockdowns are not really that heavy. Sometimes it's balance rather than the guy being hurt. Sometimes it's a slip that gets called as a knockdown, etc. So I don't know. But even if it wasn't, Travis Walker can punch. He's hurt, you know, quite a few decent fighters over the years. But Scott Belshaw, people, if you're not familiar with who Scott Belshaw is, let me click on his box rec here. Scott Belshaw, as you see there, was stopped by Lucas Browne in the second. Browne was dropped by him in the first. The fight before, Scott Belshaw was knocked out in one round by Larry Olabamiwo. Now, Olabamiwo don't have a great chin. He blasted Belshaw out of there. Before that, people, Scott Belshaw was blasted out in 2 rounds in Prize Fighter. I remember this fight. He was blasted out in 2 rounds in Prize Fighter by Audley Harrison. And then Tyson Fury stopped him in 2 rounds prior to that. He lost a points decision a few fights prior to that. So I've seen Scott Belshaw fight numerous times. And I'm telling you people, he is not a very good fighter. And this is a guy who's dropping Lucas Browne in the first? Again, I haven't seen footage of it. I don't know, exactly how heavy the knockdown was, etc. Lucas Browne was very heavy in weight here, 264 pounds. But still, my contention is that Lucas Browne's punch resistance is not particularly great. And he's been down in the Chigayev fight, we all know. He was down in the 6th and he was hurt by Chigayev on numerous occasions. And Chigayev is a little heavyweight, people. I know he weighed 248 pounds there, but a hell of a lot of that was fat. He was basically a fat cruiserweight. And not in particularly good shape, not in the prime of his life or anywhere near. And you look at Chigayev's record, and I've seen many, many of Chigayev's fights over the years. Who has Chigayev been stopping and dropping? Akendo went the distance. He didn't go on the floor. Jovo, I guess he was down, but who the hell is this Jovo guy? I've got no idea. Povetkin, obviously, he took Chigayev's shots. He didn't go nowhere. Went the distance with Travis Walker. Carly Meehan went the distance without going down against Chigayev. And this is a better version of Chigayev than the one Browne fought. He obviously fought Klitschko. Matt Skelton. All right, Matt Skelton is a guy who came from a kickboxing background, who was a very crude fighter, a very tough man, but very crude. He went the distance. I remember this fight when Chigayev was heavyweight champion. He went the distance with Chigayev. He never went down. He was never badly hurt. That's Matt Skelton, who was really just a British level / European level fighter. Went the distance with a prime Chigayev, 229 pound Chigayev in 2008. No problem. Didn't come close to getting knocked out or dropped. But yet Lucas Browne was down and hurt several times against an over-the-hill Chigayev who retired after the fight. So people are talking about Dillian Whyte getting knocked out and Dillian Whyte's chin this, Dillian Whyte's chin that. Dillian Whyte has got a better chin than Lucas Browne as far as I'm concerned. Dillian Whyte's only been down once, and that was against Joshua. And that was after 7 rounds of absorbing all Joshua's best punches. I'm telling you now, Dillian Whyte has got a better chin than Lucas Browne. Yeah, he was wobbled against Hellenius. Derek Chisora was wobbled against Hellenius. Go look at the first fight. The first round of Chisora Hellenius. Derek Chisora was hurt. Just like Dillian Whyte was hurt against Hellenius. Hellenius can punch, people. He's a serious banger. Now, do I believe Lucas Browne has got the power to hurt Dillian Whyte, to knock Dillian Whyte out? Yes, I do. Okay? But the point being, people are focusing so much on Lucas Browne's power and the belief that he's going to crack Dillian Whyte's chin. They're forgetting about the fact that Lucas Browne's chin is questionable, people. And one thing that's interesting to me is that there's been a rumor flying around that Lucas Browne was dropped in sparring by Derek Chisora this past week or so. This is the rumor that's been going around. Now, when I first heard it, I thought, it could be true. Or maybe it's a ploy by Lucas Browne and Derek Chisora to try and get Dillian Whyte to come out and be aggressive, thinking that Chisora's dropped him in sparring. Okay, let me just go for him early. Maybe he's not feeling sure of himself. Maybe he's not feeling confident, and I'll be able to bomb him out because he's been getting dropped in sparring and what have you. So at first I thought maybe it's a ploy, but then I saw Lucas Browne in several interviews after this sparring with Derek Chisora had taken place, and he kept repeating the claim that he had a good chin. He said, I've got a good chin, I've got a good chin. He kept repeating this in all the interviews that I saw, and I picked up on it, and I thought, if he has been dropped in sparring, why would he be coming out saying I've got a good chin, other than to try and reassure himself, to give himself confidence, to try and, in his own mind, dismiss what happened in those sparring sessions? Oh, I've got a good chin, I got up, I've got a good chin. It was just a flash knockdown. The rumor is he got dropped by Chisora in sparring and was dropped heavily. So, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. Is Lucas Browne's chin suspect? See, people are saying it's either going to be Whyte on points or Browne by KO. Most people, and there's a hell of a lot of people picking Browne by KO. And I can see it. But I'm picking Whyte on points. I wouldn't dismiss Whyte by KO either. Because Lucas Browne's chin, people, I'm telling you, Dillian Whyte hits as hard as Ruslan Chagayev. He may not hit as correctly, and a lot of the anatomy of producing KOs comes down to how flush you're landing and the timing of your punches. So Dillian Whyte don't have the timing or the technique of a Chagayev. He doesn't. But in terms of actual brute force behind his punches, he hits just as hard as Chagayev, probably harder. So I wouldn't count out a Dillian Whyte knockout victory over Browne either. But I'm still sticking with Whyte on points. I think he's going to do it. Browne does have the power to knock Dillian Whyte out, and I've said this before. Some people might find it crazy or whatever. It's just my view. I think Lucas Browne, in terms of one punch power, hits harder than Anthony Joshua. I think Lucas Browne potentially will be the hardest puncher that Dillian Whyte's ever been in the ring with. A harder puncher than Joshua, maybe even harder than Hellenius in terms of one punch power. So I don't discount Lucas Browne. It wouldn't shock me if he won, but I'm seeing it like 60-40 in Dillian Whyte's favor in terms of him winning. That's what I've got in my head. 60-40 in favor of Whyte. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, people. How's this fight going to go? Have you considered Lucas Browne's punch resistance? And also, have you seen these two fights? Well, he's been dropped in 3 fights. We've all seen the Chagayev fight, I assume. But have you seen the other fights where he was dropped in the first round? I know they were early on in Browne's career, but still, you know, how much is your chin going to improve? It's not like he weighed less back then, because some people seem to believe that heavyweights weighing less depletes their ability or reduces their ability to take a punch, which I don't agree with. When you're a lightweight, you know, a lighter weight fighter, when you don't fight in the heavyweight division and you've got to drain yourself and dehydrate yourself and cut calories to make particular weight, yes, that can reduce your punch resistance, but heavyweights don't have to deplete themselves. So I don't see how Lucas Browne's chin will be any better now than it was when he fought Scott Belshaw or Travis Walker. I don't see how it would be any better. But yeah, let me know if you've seen the Scott Belshaw fight or the Travis Walker fight, or if you've got any links to those fights. Drop those links in the comment section. So yeah, let me know how you feel, people. It's happening. I'm out.